This is going to be my reaction video to the Ravens 17-15 win over Washington Saturday night, the third and final preseason game. A very different vibe or feel to the game, to watching the game on TV or on my computer like I do. I'm sure for some of you guys that were there, it was a very different feel or vibe as well. I thought I got a lot of observations, but they're not as data or formation or personnel based. So, I'm not going to be showing drive breakdowns. I do have some of them. I probably only charted about 60% of the game for real. Once it got to like early third quarter, I kind of stopped charting. I will be charting every single play during the regular season, but with the caliber of guy, that's the wrong word. With the hierarchy of the players we had on the field, generally guys trying to make the roster, I did not see the point in tracking, down, distance, personnel, formation, strong, weak, all of those things. If you're in my Discord, through the online database that we upkeep, that'll be there for the regular season stuff. But in any case, some observations. I mean, Demarcus Robinson can play. I almost said Demarcus Williams. Demarcus Robinson can play. I don't think there was any doubt about that. Should he have been playing against some of the guys he was playing against in the second half? No. Absolute mismatch. Similar to the Isaiah Likely situation, I think, against Arizona, whereby at some point you're, hey, let's take him off the field. Let's take him off the field. It's obvious that he's a guy that, look at the sluggo route that he ran for the touchdown, 67-yard touchdown play. Look at that route. I'm struggling right now to remember a better route that's been run by a Ravens receiver in the preseason. And Shamar Bridges with the two fade routes that he called against the Titans, the outside release fade that Mekhi Polk caught against the Titans as well. The touchdown pass that Isaiah Likely caught against Arizona, and then got hit by the safety and tackled by a linebacker right in the end zone. Okay, so that's a great play. The two of the unsettled or scrambled situations where Huntley has found Isaiah Likely, near the top of the numbers, like I've referenced a couple times, that landmark. I think one time against the Titans and I think one time against Arizona. Those are great plays. But I'm talking about the route. The route that Demarcus Robinson ran was a route that's run by one of your top three receivers or on the team. And I don't know where he fits. If you've listened to my channel much, I don't talk like that. Wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. We've got another good wide receiver that we can use. I don't know what James Prochet's status is in terms of his health. I know he's back practicing apparently, but he has missed some time. To me, this is a smart pickup by the Ravens, a potential depth piece, a potential guy who could be used in the slot, could be used in motion, could be used as the Z, because I think Rashad Bateman is the X. I don't know the Ravens terminology. I do actually have someone in my Discord who's got a ton of playbooks. So if you want to see playbooks, join my Discord. He's got a ton of playbooks, and so I could actually look and see the routes and see that Bateman is the X. And I did confirm that, earlier today by looking at one of them. But I think Demarcus Robinson can play for us immediately. You let me know what you think. And I'm not just going off of, tonight's stuff. I mean, he tore him up. He could have had another touchdown. That one kind of surprised me that the left foot, he wasn't actively trying to get that left foot down. Then had a 12-yard catch on a little in route that was tightly covered. Had another catch early in the third quarter. I think he had 4 catches overall, maybe 5. A great game from him. Anthony Brown, what do you say about Anthony Brown? He's doing his best Tyler Huntley impersonation in some ways, except the deep ball, provides a different element from Anthony Brown. And I think I said this in my first reaction video after the Titans game. I did not see some of this from Anthony Brown from his time at Oregon, for real. I'm not saying that he didn't show talent, but they were such a run-heavy offense. Brown went out there tonight, just so you know, it was 15 of 19, so high percent. 255 yards and 1 touchdown. The touchdown, aforementioned touchdown to Demarcus Robinson. Very easily could have had a second one if Demarcus Robinson is able to get that left foot in bounds as well. How does Anthony Brown fit for us? Clearly not our backup, but a guy who hopefully we can keep on the practice squad and keep around, and maybe a year from now, if Huntley's gone, or 2 years from now, whatever, Brown's working himself up to a backup role, backing up Lamar, and he isn't, somewhere else in the league. We're doing a great job. I have mentioned a couple of times that I think our coaches are doing a better job this year. I don't know why that is. It looks to me like a better coach team. Maybe because we have more talent. We don't have so many injuries. Because the last time we saw the Ravens, the last 5-6 weeks of the season, we were a compromised football team, completely compromised. Just staying in the game against the Rams, just staying in the game against the Packers was a testament to the coaching staff and the players at that time. Their mental toughness. Let's talk about a couple of other guys. Josh Ross continued to play well. Christian Welch played well though. So there was an interesting dynamic there. I didn't see Harrison on the field a lot at inside linebacker in the first half. I did see him on the field at edge, outside linebacker. So maybe that's an opportunity for Harrison to stay on the roster for at least for the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, because Bowser's out. Ojabo is also obviously out for a longer period of time. So maybe we keep. Here's a crazy thought. Maybe we keep Ross, Welch, and Harrison, because Harrison can play a little bit of outside linebacker. Now, in pass rush situations, Malik Harrison's not going to be on the field, but that wouldn't be a bad option. I think Steven Means can play and probably offers more out there on the edge for real. I won't mention that I wish my guy Pernell McPhee was still on the team. I know he's old, and a lot of people don't like old players, but there's always one more fight in an old line. That's truly believe that. So Ross was balling. He had 2 of those same reads where he's coming downhill immediately, and we haven't seen that from any other inside linebacker in the preseason for real. Like I talked about Demarcus Robinson's route being an outlier, really sticking out from all the routes that we've seen run in the preseason. Josh Ross has had 3 run fits downhill, decisive, immediately coming downhill, 3 of them, 2 in this game and 1 in the Arizona game, that I don't think Welch, Harrison, or Jacoby McLean have been able to recreate. You can let me know if I'm wrong. I thought Ross played well. I thought Welch played very well also. They've got a tough decision to make on their hands. I don't know what factors into their decision on who to keep. Y'all see I spelled preseason wrong too, by the way. I didn't even know that was there. Are they wondering about, would Christian Welch survive on the practice squad? Would somebody pick him up? Would Josh Ross survive on the practice squad? Would somebody else pick him up? How do they factor those things into the decision? I'm not sure if they do or not. I like both of them. I'd like to see all 3 of them kept, because the last thing we want to get into is a game. I think we have a unique opportunity right now with Bowser out and Ojabo out. We have a unique opportunity to keep Harrison. And if something does happen inside linebacker-wise in the game, we have a Mike and a weak side inside linebacker that we can put in the game specifically, because I don't think Harrison's a Mike. I don't. I think Ross is. I think Welch can play either one. All right, a couple of other things. Hal played very well. He looked impressive to me. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section. I had not seen film on him, to be honest with you. I just don't have that kind of time on my hands. I wish I did. To me, he showed a lot of ability. He made some traditional quarterback reads, downfield passes, a screen. He sold the screenplay well, the one that Broderick Washington almost tracked down from behind. Hal read the RPOs, read them correctly. He was tearing us up with, I don't even know the receiver's first name. His last name is Brown. He was operating against Stevens a lot. Hal was targeting him early, like the first 3 possessions. Hal's arm looked live to me, very decisive. Like I said, strong arm, quick decisions. And then they had him run some read option. He did. Now, I do want to talk about one play that Rod Woodson and the other announcer misunderstood. They weren't, and I'm not trying to be a jerk here, they were not able to explain it well because they don't understand the option. So, on the read option or any option, not RPO, but any option, if you misread it as the quarterback, what you're taught is follow the running back. So, let's just talk about Lamar. Pistol option that we have run under Greg Roman for a couple of years. The running back is running a downhill track. Like let's say off the guard's outside hip. If you misread it, if it should have been a give to the running back, that means the DN's coming upfield. Then you got to follow the running back. That's where the yards are. Maybe it's only 3 yards, but at least it's some yards, when you misread it. On the read option, see, Woodson was talking about, and he's absolutely correct. On the read option, if you give it, the running back is going, in this case, this play, to the left. The offense's left. If you keep it as the quarterback, then you're going in the opposite direction to the offense's right. The point is, Hal did it correctly. That's the point I'm trying to make. It's just taking me a long time to get there. If Hal misreads it, should have been a give to the running back going to the left, keeps it, recognizes instantly, I should have given this, follow the running back. He did exactly what he's taught to do. It's not Rod Woodson and them's fault. I mean, they're announcers, and Woodson played safety, so he's not. Those guys aren't aware of how the option is taught. But if you misread it, you follow the running back. I thought Hal looked impressive. I don't know where he is on their depth chart, to be honest with you. I guess I could have looked it up, before doing this reaction video. But as you can see, I barely had time to even try to spell the word preseason, so I'm messing up there. Let's talk about some of the throws by Brown. The big throws down the left side. He had a huge completion to Benjamin Victor, too. And I think it was around about that time when the announcers brought up their, what do they call it? The Booths 53. And so they were talking about receivers. And I'm real interested. I mean, first of all, I don't know. I struggle to think that we might keep a Riley Webb or I forget who the other guy was, as opposed to a Shamar Bridges, or to a lesser extent, Mekhi Polk. Like, I struggle to put those guys in the same category. Shamar Bridges, to me, is in a different category than, my favorite is Mekhi Polk. I'm going to be straight up about it. But, like, Shamar Bridges is in a different category. Like, we can't, I don't know how it works. I know we have him under a 3-year contract. I know we signed him. He was the first wide receiver that we signed, I believe, in terms of actually signing a contract once he was here for rookie minicamp. So explain to me in the comment section how it works if we were to put him on the practice squad. To my understanding, he is then eligible or able to be picked up by other teams, and I think that happens immediately. I don't think Shamar Bridges lasts 1 week. If he's out there and able to be picked up by other teams, they're going to pick him up. I think it's possible Mekhi Polk would too, but not to the extent that Shamar Bridges would. The other receivers that they listed is a pretty good group, obviously Bateman, Duvernay, Prochet, and then Robinson. To me, again, talking about the routes, Robinson's there. It's no question if you watch the way the routes are run, the suddenness, the abruptness. Getting back to Brown for a moment, the arm is what is interesting to me. The arm is very live, and that could probably get people's attention as well. Perfect candidate to be a scout team quarterback based upon some of the teams we're going to play this year. Week 1, I'm talking about. If it's true that we're going to get Joe Flacco in week 1, Anthony Brown could give you a great Joe Flacco impersonation in terms of the arm quality, the arm strength. And if you haven't been paying attention, there's been a lot of positive things said about Joe Flacco in preseason camp with the Jets. I kind of follow some people on Twitter because I knew who our week 1 opponent was, and Flacco has apparently had a really good camp. Doesn't surprise me. I think Anthony Brown could give us a real good look that week. Let's talk about some other guys that were either playing well or surprising. Brandon Stevens it was kind of surprising to me to see him out there with the I guess what you would call the third stringers, and having some trouble. I thought he looked a step slow on some of the situations. I don't think that Washington was just targeting him, like, quote, picking on him. I think it just happened to be where the read was. He got beat on a slant. He got beat. That guy Brown was tough. It was a tough cover, just like number 17 was for Arizona last week. So don't get me wrong. It's not like he's covering guys who aren't talented. I think he's covering some talented guys. I think he's being challenged, but he's a little lower on my list in terms of coverage guys for us right now. And I want to know what you guys think. Maybe I'm being a little too harsh. I really like Brandon Stevens. I think he's got a bright future. I like his toughness. Last year, I thought he did some good things, but I'm not sure that him at outside corner right now is where my eyes think is his best spot. The problem is there's so many other guys who play that, slot corner or that nickel safety on this roster that, maybe it's possible the Ravens doing the same thing with Brandon Stevens that they're doing with the other offensive linemen. Tyree Phillips. versatility, playing him at two positions. Ben Powers, playing him at two positions. Ben Cleveland, that's not necessarily the same thing because he's playing right guard and left guard, but I think Cleveland looks a little better at right guard. But digressing a little bit. Maybe Brandon Stevens, they're playing him exclusively at outside corner in the preseason to get him reps there. And really, their plan is for him to be a backup outside corner if something happens to, one of the big three, Fuller, Humphrey, Peters. And then he would be a slot corner by plan, the design. So let me know what you guys think of that thought. Another thought that this is on the other side of the ball. I just don't feel like our offensive line is super consistent, but I know we're talking about a lot of backup guys that played tonight. So it's going to be very interesting for me in week 1 to see what we've got. I do think that Linderbaum played well to my eyes. I didn't track anything. When the All 22 comes out, then obviously I'm going to do a video about Linderbaum. I want to see it. I looked at the college film and I thought I saw a really good player. So I got no apprehension or anxiety there. But now I want to see it. Like, I want to see the film. I want to see the end zone angle. I want to see the steps. I want to see him taking people over. And it's not like I think our offensive line played poor. I just think we've been generally inconsistent along the offensive line in the preseason. I want to know what you guys think. Steven Means, is a guy that I think will make the team, and I like what he brings. I like the toughness, the strength, to be honest with you. Even though I thought their offense really put us in a bind. They were doing a great job, Washington. They were in the spread a lot, and they were stressing our nickel defense. But I thought our coverages were real vanilla tonight. You can let me know what you think. I feel like when we've had Hamilton, Geno Stone, even Jefferson on the field together or in certain nickel situations, we've been kind of multiple. We've been spinning a safety down, rolling another one back. We've been dropping an edge defender, blitzing the inside linebacker on the other side. I'm still working on my video about the Ravens' coverages, by the way. It's become a huge undertaking. But I felt like we were very vanilla coverage-wise tonight. So maybe that's got something to do with me saying that I thought Hal he kind of got into us a little bit. The first possession, they missed a field goal. Their second possession, they kicked the field goal successfully. They had another field goal, in the first half. I thought their offense had, some moments where they moved the ball on us. The first drive was 12 plays. The second drive was 6 plays. And then the other field goal in the first half was 11 plays. Of course, one of those 3 field goal attempts they missed. All right. Let me know what you think of the big plays. And I think it was mentioned by, Rod Woodson, that last year we were the only team to not have a 50-yard run or a 50-yard catch. That's got to change. But the 50-yard play is the home run. The home run. And I don't think we need home runs to win. I don't. I think we need a whole bunch of doubles and the occasional home run when you're just trying to hit a double. That because I think that, and this is one of the issues, this is related to last year when we got to the Bengals game. There was some checkdowns against the Bengals that we didn't take. And I think part of that was the way Lamar was coached. I think part of that was Lamar's decisions to just, not throw it there. And I think part of it, too, was the personnel. He had Marquise Brown, and he had Rashad Bateman, and he had Mark Andrews in his game. I get it. You'd rather throw the ball to one of those 3 guys than you would to Devonta Freeman or whoever else the running back was, trying to go out into the flats as a late check down option. So I get that. But by the same token, I think the mentality of trying to hit home runs is the wrong mentality long term for Lamar. Because I think the check downs open up the big plays at some point. Because you get the 2nd and 7 check down that creates a 3rd and 2, or maybe your running back gets the first down. Keeping you in positive situations. I'm not talking about setting up to convert the 3rd down. I'm talking about a positive play. One positive play leads to another. 2nd and 7, I'm thinking of a very specific play last year against the Bengals. It was the first 3rd down I think we faced. Maybe the second, actually. And Lamar, it was the second one. And Lamar had a check down to Freeman in the left flats. Freeman would have had to juke a guy, which we could argue if you want to about whether he would have done so, but it was available and there was space there. Instead, he threw the ball to a tight window to Bateman over the middle, and Bateman and the DB are hand fighting, and it's a tough play. I don't fault Lamar for trusting Bateman because I trust Bateman too. I'm sure you do. But I think that over time, the cumulative effect of more singles opens up more opportunities later on. I understand that that's kind of backwards thinking because the checkdowns are later in the progression, coach. You know what I mean? You're not going to look to a check down first and then go downfield. I understand that in terms of progressions, I'm actually talking backwards there. But we do not need to hit 15 home runs this year. We need to hit probably 8 is my guess. And then, from that, threatening the home run, yeah, we got to threaten the home run. I know we got to stretch the field a little bit. But we've also got to hit 16, 18 checkdowns over the course of the year, maybe more than that. Maybe it's 22, 24 of them, so that defenses have a little bit more awareness of what's in front of them, and that can open things up behind them. I went on a little bit there talking about the Ravens offense and kind of linking it to the game tonight, but more so talking about we have a big arm with Anthony Brown. Lamar's obviously got a big arm. Those two arms are better than Huntley's in terms of certain downfield routes. Having said that, we don't need a ton of home runs. I don't think we do. You may disagree, and that's cool. Let me know in the comment section or the chat. I think that was our issue last year. I think that was one of our issues last year. Now granted, our offensive line was related to it too. We couldn't protect for long, so whereby you don't have time to develop the home run downfield because you couldn't protect. I didn't see much, to be honest with you, pass rush wise. I thought, there were certain guys we didn't play. I was impressed with Jeremiah Moon. I have continued to be impressed by him. I think he looks like a good prospect. It's most likely that he's going to end up on the practice squad, and who knows what happens from there. Our interior D-line is the part in terms of who makes the roster that is most interesting to me. Like Broderick Washington and Isaiah Mack just stick out to me so much. And Crawford can play too, don't get me wrong. I don't know how those, especially Mack and Washington, I don't know how those guys end up on the practice. They don't. They don't end up on the practice squad and stay in Baltimore. They go somewhere else and they play on Sundays. I mean, if you watched the second Bengals game last year, Broderick Washington and Mack gave the Bengals O-lines problems in that game. We lost that game. We couldn't handle their offense, don't get me wrong. But when we actually dropped 7 in coverage, Mack and Washington were able to get to the quarterback. I think we had 4 or 5 sacks that game. You can correct me if I'm wrong there. I didn't see much out of the pass rush tonight in terms of, Welch had 2 sacks. He split one with Jeremiah Moon. I can't remember who he split the other one with. I think it might have been Broderick Washington that was in there on the quarterback and Hal escaped it. Kind of a really low-key game, if you ask me. Almost looked like a scrimmage. Almost looked like, in some cases, a scrimmage, where there was another agreement that, like, hey, we're going to stay real vanilla and we're just going to get out of here. We're going to get out of here. Running game looked, again, inconsistent. This is going to be the last point. And if you were to just go off the preseason, you would have concerns about the running game. But we know that Kevin Zeitler hasn't played at all. Tyler Linderbaum only played 3 possessions. Ronnie Stanley, who knows if he plays in week 1, but clearly hasn't played in the preseason. Morgan Moses hasn't played a single snap. So there's 4 out of the 5 slots on the offensive line where we've gotten a total of 3 possessions. So it kind of doesn't surprise me that the running game doesn't look like a factor at all. At all. I thought I saw 1 RPO tonight, and I want to say something about RPOs, and I'm going to do a video on RPOs before week 1. I believe that the RPO was underutilized by the Ravens in 2021. With a poor offensive line, you can I'm talking about last year, you can take advantage of the defense and put them in conflict with the RPO and not put your quarterback in a situation where he has to run. If you're someone who thinks an RPO is a designed quarterback run play, it is not. It's drastically different. A read option play or a pistol option play has an element to it of the quarterback keeping the ball and running. So that is the secondary option. The first option is you give it. That's the way the option is taught. You give it unless. Okay, so you give it to the running back unless the D end or outside linebacker does something. So, or at least that's my experience how it's taught. So there's no indecision on what to do. But in any case, an RPO that's not an RPO. An RPO is similar in terms of whether to give the ball or not, but the secondary element to an RPO is not the quarterback keeping it and running it. The secondary element is the quarterback keeping it and throwing it to someone typically on the other side, the same side as where the running back lined up. There are backwards RPOs. So the slant that's hitting is from the opposite side where the running back lined up. Now, Lamar is a special player. Against the Cleveland Browns last year, twice on RPOs, he put the ball out, meshed with the running back, kept it, went to throw the ball. The guy was covered. And because Lamar's special and has incredibly high awareness, he takes off running, 9-yard gain. The next one was a 12-yard gain. It was the home game against Cleveland, okay, if you don't remember. Left to right on the screen, by the way. So, in any case, the RPO is something I thought was underutilized, particularly for Lamar's skill set, and I'll be doing a video on it. I thought I saw one RPO by the Ravens tonight, and I know I saw 3 by Washington, and they lit us up. So, a very different reaction video for me. If you watch the whole thing, I appreciate it. Number one, you can make fun of me for not being able to spell preseason, by the way. But I'll get you back some point later on. Let me know what you think of Demarcus Robinson, what you think of my thoughts on Anthony Brown. I'm worried that someone grabs him. I know that, there's 32 teams in the NFL, so I know that a team picks him up, then that means they needed a backup. So not everybody needs a backup at this point. But people might need a backup after week 1. People might need a backup after an injury next week, leading up to the first game on September 11th. I'm worried about some of those guys going to the practice squad and getting picked up. And if you look at, the Giants picked up Bailey Gaither and another receiver. I think there's some little gamesmanship going on there, though, because, of course, we play them in week 6. So they might have needed some receiver talent, but I'm also wondering about, why that was. So appreciate you guys' time. Very different reaction video. If you didn't enjoy this one as much as other ones, I understand that. My regular season reaction videos will obviously have down distance, personnel formation, play concept breakdown info for you to see, and I'll try to be the first person to show you that. Subscription sites online are going to give that information to you, but they're generally going to give that information to you, Monday or Tuesday. To my knowledge, I may be wrong there, but I'm going to give it to you right after the game or within an hour of the game getting done. Appreciate you guys' time. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so now.